Everybody, happy Friday to you all. We made it to the end of the week. Hope some of you have had a good week. Certainly better than what mine's been like so far. But yeah, just wanted to keep you updated with what's happening and things. There's been quite a lot going on today, and I've been quite busy. A little bit less busy than yesterday, but I'll get on to that in a moment. So first of all, Jennifer from Diabetes UK's advocacy service was in touch with me this morning, and she just wanted to find out what was happening and where things were up to, and she's said that they will give me their full support with regards to reapplying for the licence and for things petition based as well. So that's all good news. She's requested that I keep her updated with what's happening. I'm doing that. My consultant and my specialist nurse were in touch today. Fantastic stuff, because they've acted quite quickly with regards to all of this, and very positive about it. Basically, they've both said that they'll fully back my reapplication and things like that, and also that they really do back the campaign and stuff as well, because this is a pertinent issue that needs to be dealt with. I mean, they've got experience with people who this has happened to, time and time again, and it's happened to quite a few people that they deal with, and it is an issue that needs to be dealt with. And even with glowing reports that they give for some people, it's still a uncertain as to whether they're actually going to get their license back, and in a lot of cases they don't, even though there is medical evidence to say that these people are fine, and they had the severe hypos whilst unconscious, and it shouldn't really impact on their ability to operate a motor vehicle whilst conscious. So yeah, apparently the DVLA then just seem to ignore any kind of evidence that you throw at them, and they're, as I said yesterday, a bit of a law unto themselves. Big news today was quite surprising actually, because I did intend to get some PhD work done today, which is what I was saying yesterday. That all kind of stopped when I received an email from Andy Bonner, who works for ITV, specifically Granada Reports, which is a news show that's based up in the Granada area. So I'm not too sure what that exactly covers. I know it covers Manchester, Liverpool, just the two big cities, Warrington, places like that. But yeah, he invited me to come and have a talk with him for an interview that's going to be put onto Granada Reports at 6 o'clock next Monday. So this Monday coming. I'm not too sure what the exact date is, but yeah, which is fantastic news. It gives obviously the petition some exposure and highlights the issues that type 1 diabetics and type 2 diabetics indeed are having with regards to this crazy Freudian slip there, crazy directives that's coming out of the EU, and the DVLA are enforcing it. So that's 8 o'clock on Monday, on Granada region only on ITV. I did try to get in about the petition and things like that, but it seemed like they're trying to focus a little bit more on my own situation, which I understand. TV, there's a guy who's got a relatable story, you want to kind of latch onto it and stuff. But I did try to get the petition in there as much as possible, and as I said in the update earlier, some of it will probably be edited, and I have no control over that, but I hope that it does come off well and that it portrays everything that we've been doing in a good light. In addition, JDRF UK, which is a UK-based diabetes type 1 focused charity, retweeted the petition today as well, so thank you very much. Also meant to say as well, thanks Andy for the Granada Reports invitation, and for treating me so cordially and so well while I was down there, and for being actually interested in the cause. It's fantastic. I'm really thankful for that. So JDRF UK retweeted the petition, as did Kevin Sim, who some of you may have seen recently on the big reunion. He's a member of Liberty X. He's also the brother of a friend's girlfriend. She's a friend herself. So I just want to say thanks, Rachel, for putting me in touch with him, and thanks Kevin for retweeting. loads more friends as well. Not to leave anybody out. Absolutely loads of friends who've been retweeting this, getting it up there in the public eye, as well as complete strangers who I would now consider friends because you've been so nice to actually like help me out with regards to this for no benefit for no monetary reparation anyway, at least. So thank you all very much. Really means an awful lot. I keep saying that, and it really does, because this is something that needs to be dealt with. Also, Lord Collins, who I mentioned in a previous video update, who's Lord in the House of Parliament and is very interested in all things diabetes and politics related, followed me today, as is Andy from ITV Reports, Granada Reports. So I need to get in touch with Lord Collins and see exactly what we can achieve by having a bit of communication between us. I also feel really quite sad as well with regards to reading some of the comments that you guys have been leaving on the petition. Some of the stories about the family members that who have had their licences revoked. There was one in particular who was talking about their mother who was middle-aged, I believe, and she's type 1 diabetic, and she had her licence revoked because she was pretty much in the same situation as what I'm in at the moment, and her self-confidence and her independence, things like that, have just been shattered by it. And this is a real effect of what this type of uninformed and bordering on discriminatory decision making does to people, and it's not right, to be honest. I really don't think it's fair, and it just proves a lack of understanding. I mean, from what I've seen so far with regards to all of this, it seems like it's just paranoia that's bred through just a complete misunderstanding or non-understanding of diabetes, which needs to change. I mean, these laws affect people, and they affect people in a very real way, and to put a piece of legislation in place that does that to people, I would expect that would be researched correctly before it's put out into the public domain, which apparently this really hasn't. I mean, if there has been some kind of consultation with a medical professional, then that person would probably need to resign from their post, because this is absolutely, like, it just flies in the face of every single piece of scientific or medical evidence that exists for the condition. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that would be really, really helpful actually is if you could, if anybody has the time and if anybody is willing to do this, is to type out like a kind of what's the word that I'm trying to think of? It's like a testimony in a way, as to what's actually happened to you and your experiences with the DVLA and things like that. So I can get like a body of evidence together to say that they don't follow the rules that they ascribe to and claim to ascribe to, and that they don't consider each case individually, and they certainly don't take any interest in any kind of medical evidence that's presented to them by medical professionals. The letters of support are coming from guys here who've spent years training to be doctors and consultants. Whether they're the same thing or not, I'm not too sure. I'm not in the medicine background, not in the medicine game even. But that should count for something, and that should be listened to over, what you seem to think is right. I think that's just a sensible standpoint to take. Personally, I'm going through the reapplication process now to see what happens. I spoke to my uncle today, who was involved with the law and things like that, and he was interested in seeing whether the D1 and the D1 pack actually had any difference with them. With the fact that it's called a D1 pack might imply that there is an extra application form to expand upon what you are trying to get across to the DVLA for why your reapplication should be successful. I rang the DVLA and inquired about this, and they said that no, the D1 is essentially just the same thing. The D1 pack, is essentially the same thing as a regular D1 form. It's just got an extra leaflet in it, and yeah, why you could justify calling that a pack and the D1 not a pack is ridiculous, and it's just ambiguous and unclear anyway, which seems to be a common theme with all of this, with all of their dealings. DVLA apparently as well will consider information that is given to them by consultants and by GPs for, you know, reapplications. Whether they listen to that or not is a different matter. But I got that from the to use the cliche, from the horse's mouth. Now, I'm obviously going to do this, see what happens. But by the stories that I've heard from a lot of people, which outweighs the success stories that I've heard, it just sees that doesn't even make a blind bit of difference anyway. They're a law unto themselves. If that doesn't work, obviously the next step is then a magistrate's court, who then have the final decision on whether I get my licence back or not. If anybody has gone through to that stage as well, I would really like to hear from you, just to see how the land lies with legality in the courts itself. So just to give you as well a quick, I talked before about, you know, how this has a real effect on people's lives. I mean, my experience today, this is the first day that I've like had to go into town. I've not left the house. Sorry, I have left the house today. I've not left the house over the past couple of days because I've been busy with the petition and things like that. So my own experience today, I rang up a taxi company, a local taxi company, to find out how much it would be to travel from my house here to the place that I work at. And this was with a private taxi company, not a black cab. A black cab will cost more, and that was £8.70, they estimate, for one way. Now if you add that up over the course of 3 days, which is the time that I work in the company, so it's £8.70 twice a day, for 3 days. In total that gives £52.50, and to put that into perspective, I usually spend £35 a week on the car, and that gets my girlfriend and me, that enables me to drop my girlfriend off in Liverpool. I live about 2-3 miles out from the city centre, and then that lets me get to work, and then I can come back from work, obviously back home, and then do the same again the next day for those 3 days. And also I can go around and, you know, go to the shops, visit family, visit friends, things like that. So, you know, you're talking about an increase of £17.20 for considerably less mileage, which is just bonkers, to be perfectly honest. If I was to get the bus into work, I would have to, the particular bus route that I live on is the 12 and the 13 bus route, which essentially just lets you go into town. It goes absolutely nowhere near to where I work. And the shortest journey is for me to go into Liverpool and then come back out to Netherley, which in all will probably take about 1.5 hours depending on traffic, which is just insane. It usually will take me 20 minutes maybe with traffic to get to work in the morning. You know, it has an impact, and it has a pretty detrimental impact. While we're on this subject as well, I'd just like to say I'm not one of these people who believes that I have a right to drive. I don't believe I have a right to drive. I think it's a privilege, but I believe I have a right to drive if I am medically fit to drive, which is what I would consider myself to be, under definitions that are backed up by medical evidence. I also do Thai boxing 3 days a week, on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. The issues of contention here are the ones on Monday and Wednesday, obviously when I'm in work. I finish work at 6 o'clock, and the Thai class starts at 7:30. Now, the Thai class is in Liverpool itself, so even with a car, it's a bit of a rush to get back, have my tea, and go out again to go to Thai. Now, I do Thai to keep myself fit, obviously, which is important for me with having diabetes. I believe that, you know, you should take care of yourself, and, you know, it has really helped. My insulin sensitivity has increased because I've been going to Thai boxing, and my weight, I was never big anyway, but my weight is a lot more steady now and things, so, you know, it does have a big effect. My blood sugars are also a lot more constant. I can't do that anymore, pretty much because the length of time it will take to get home from using a taxi and then get out again from using a taxi, and then the associated cost of that is just, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it whatsoever. So this does have an effect. It has a real effect, and it has a real detrimental effect. And I would hope that would be recognised by the DVLA, by the EU, and by, you know, just people in general, really, which I know you all appreciate. Finally, I'd just like to clarify the answer to a question that I've been asked an awful lot today, and was asked by Andy Bonner in the Granada Reports interview. He asked how I would respond to people who say that there's, alright, you have a hypo overnight, it's a severe hypo, should that affects the hypo awareness of the daytime. To me, that is after doing research into this, I'm lucky with being at the university that I can get access to research papers for free. Otherwise, I think you have to pay like $31 maybe to get hold of these things sometimes. But from what I've read, and I've read about 3-4 papers regarding this from well-established medical journals to do with diabetes from well-respected doctors. There's been tests into this, and there is absolutely no link between the fact that you have a severe hypo and your hypo awareness decreases. The two seem to be completely independent of one another. So whether you have decreased hypo awareness or not, isn't influenced at all by the severity of your hypos or anything. And needless to say, if that was the case, then I would be the first person to turn around and say, "Look, I'm not getting awareness of my hypos anymore. Please take my license off me because I'm going to kill someone or kill myself." I don't want that, and I'm pretty sure that no one would ever want that. So yeah, I hope everybody's well. I hope this has been clear and informative, and I hope that you managed to tune in and see me trying to put something together for the media at 6 o'clock on Monday, and that's on, as I say, ITV. And those of you in the Granada region will be able to watch it. Those of you who aren't in the Granada region, you'll probably have to watch it on a website from something akin to a podcast, I guess. But yeah, thank you all very much again, and just remember to keep on sharing. We are actually getting somewhere now, it would seem, so that's fantastic. Thank you all very, very much for your help. See you now.